Hey folks, John from Complete Technology Solutions, your friend in the computer business. So check it out, guys. We are back with the amazing Commodore 64 case from MyRetroComputer. And guys, I have found the sweet spot on the motherboard that balances gaming power with economy and size. Check this out. So when I first heard about Sean's little project, and guys, I'm going to go ahead, if you missed that entire first video where I built the first one of these, and by the way, this box was pre-retail. It doesn't even have all the cool stuff. Paul over at The Last Game Hunter, and I'm going to toss a link for his channel down in the description, actually got a more revised version of this box, and he'll have a video coming out pretty soon. But if you missed my initial build, I'll go ahead and throw a link up here in the description for you. The board I used was a JX 1900. It was wonderful. I had no problem with that thing. It just lacked a little bit of punch, you know, and I wanted to be able to game more than just retro stuff. I wanted to put something modern on this. So what I found and what I decided to go with was an ASRock B550-M-ITX, Micro ITX, and I want to show Stumpy this. Now, this is the build that I have put together this week. If you take a look at what we've got here, I'm running a Ryzen 5600G, so we're using Ryzen Vega 11 graphics underneath a very small factor cooling fan, guys. Look how slim that is. Isn't that gorgeous? All right, I'm also running SP 3200 gigahertz RAM, 16 gigabytes, and guys, look at the size of that Pico adapter. Look how thin that is. The Pico adapter for this thing barely crests the RAM, and it's the same height as the fan. That is exactly what we were looking for, guys. We needed something that was going to sit low enough in this to where some cooling could get through this, but still have some power. So I tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to get Stumpy re-angled here, and we're going to take apart this Commodore one more time. And just as a reminder, we'll take a look at what we had done originally. And honestly, guys, it ran fine. It just wasn't... Okay, admittedly, here's what I want to do. We do a podcast every single Tuesday night. And after the podcast, I do a game stream. And I thought to myself, you know, how amazing would it be if I could do the game stream from the Commodore? And that is what I decided to do. So if this goes well, and if it works, and I have a feeling it will, then this is going to be my new game stream computer. Oh, and by the way, one other thing that some of you may or may not have noticed, number one, we do have built-in Wi-Fi, but we're running a 1 terabyte M.2 drive instead of a solid-state hard drive. That was awesome. And I'll tell you something else I found, guys. You've got a PCI Express slot right here. There is an adapter to adapt another M.2 drive onto this, so you could put a 2 or 3 terabyte secondary M.2 and still not crest the top of that fan. Amazing. Wonderful. So, assuming we have a little bit of heat release, that may be the way I end up going. All right, so let's crack this open, guys. Once again, you had 6 screws along the bottom. Top comes straight off. Now, we're going to want to be careful here because I've got this cabled in very nicely. Anybody that's watched my videos, you know how I cable things. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut down some of these supports. Because you guys know, I cabled it pretty tight because I didn't want things flopping around in here. Essentially, a lot of this cabling is going to stay more or less where it is, strangely enough. So what we're going to do is I'm going to trim off just the essentials to get this motherboard out. And get the USB header off here. And get those off there. And pull all of our adapters off. Okay, that should be enough to get our... Yeah, and then we can go ahead and pull our cooling fan out here. There we go. All right. And I'm going to change out this cooling fan, guys. I think I can go with a slightly higher velocity ball bearing fan in here. And I'm thinking about, on the side here, actually putting something to pull air this direction as well. So, all right, pulling that out of there. Here's what we're going to do. Let's pull out this board, which, once again... There were no problems with the board. The board itself was fantastic. It just didn't quite have the punch we were looking for. There we go. All right. And hopefully Stumpy's getting a good view of this. I think he is. It looks good over there. All right, guys, so one thing we want to look at right off the bat here, and hopefully Stumpy's going to be able to see this. I'm going to pull my little cooling fan solution out of here. The profile. You can see the height that we had on this. Now, this Pico adapter was low enough for this board. And as you can see, the RAM, since it's laptop RAM, did sit nice and low in here, and it was working fine. But when you put a higher power board on, you have to have a higher power adapter. But guys, look at that. Isn't that amazing? This is exactly what we were looking for. In fact, I think that this Pico adapter is actually a little lower than this one is. So let's get this set in place here. Oh, one other thing I want to show you guys before I put this in, the I/O shield for the new one. What I did is above the 2 USB ports on the back here, I drilled in a small hole, which is where we're going to run the power adapter out for the Pico adapter itself. So I'm going to pull these antennas off here for just a sec, make this a little easier to manipulate. And I'm trying to keep all this on Stumpy, guys, so bear with me if you're losing any views here. I'm doing my best to keep it in frame. Okay. So that's going to go right there. And then we're going to slide that board right into place. There we go. Just like that. Beautiful, guys. Beautiful. You know, one thing about it, because everything is so perfectly arranged in here, it's real easy to do this without having to worry about missing a step or making a mess. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and screw these down. This is going to be exactly what I envisioned. I love it. You know, it's funny, when you're doing these projects, in your head, you can see one thing, but as anybody who's ever done one of these will tell you, sometimes you get there and it's just not quite the way you thought it might be. So, but in this case, it's looking good. That clearance is perfect. That is exactly what I was looking for, guys. In fact, I was looking at this. That secondary card we were talking about, if you take a look at that height, guys, would fit in here perfectly. So if I do decide to add that in there, which we probably will just for storage, because I was playing a game the other day called Metro Exodus, and the base installation is like almost 80 gigabytes, dude. 80 gigabytes! And I know there are bigger games than that out there that are running, you know, a tenth to a quarter of a terabyte on one game. And, yeah, so storage capacity is definitely something we're going to have to look at. All right, get that last screw in right there. Look at that, guys. Is that not beautiful? All right, we're going to route some cabling under here. So, our USB 3.0 headers are actually over on the side over here. I think what we might be able to do, if we get constructive with our routing here, is route these. Well, heck, I could go down through there. But see how long that cable is? Ah, it's perfect. Let's route that right there. Now, that is the highest part of the entire thing, guys. That is the USB 3.0 cable. So what we'll do is we're going to strap that right there as tightly as we can to keep it out of the way, because that will have a little, well, it might have a little pressure, it might not. We're going to take a look at that. But we're not going to have any solid-state hard drives in here, so we don't have any other cables coming this direction. We've got these two for power, though. So what we're going to do is we're going to zip tie those and store them right here on the side for, you know, future use. There we go. Beautiful. Now, in looking at this, a couple things I'm noticing is we've got some ventilation coming out from the top and the bottom everywhere. It's vented all around, unlike the original Commodore, which is pretty much a sealed box. So hopefully that'll give us a little bit more ventilation to keep this thing cool, but we shall see. All right, now this cable is one we were talking about running out through the I/O shield, and I think if we route it the same direction, hopefully, once I said, let's see, hopefully Stumpy's getting that, guys. Let's see. So let's bring this back up for a second. Let's route this around here, around that edge, because I do like it back around that edge and kind of out of the way. And we will undo this little screw. There we go. Gotcha. And we'll run this through that I/O shield in that hole we created. And just like that, check this out, guys. So we've got the perfect little, look at that, coming right out there. Looks like it was made like that. Gorgeous, right? So what I had to trim away is, if you look on the back of this I/O shield, guys, there's like a padding, a little like sponginess right there. So I had to trim out that padding right there so that the entire thing would go all the way through. But once it went through, man, it is as tight as it can possibly be. It is perfect. So we're going to go ahead and retame our cables here a little bit. Get them out of the way back where they belong. And we're going to tie that down here in just 1 second. And guys, look at that. That is it. And since we're not using any external drives, that's the build. There is nothing more to it than what you see right there. So I tell you what, let me zip tie this up a little bit, and then I want to put the top back on it, and then we'll boot it up together. Let's see what it looks like. Be right back. All right, guys. There it is, and I'm going to show Stumpy this. This is all you've got to make this a fully functioning machine right now. Now, they do have a bracket that sits in this side. There's an open spot right here. And frankly, I'm kind of glad that's there right now for cooling. But I'm thinking I might be able to build some sort of a liquid AIO on this thing and have ventilation right here to blow across to pull air out, as well as what we already have going on here. But given how low this is, we're still going to have about 1 inch of clearance here to pull air through, and it will be coming through the back side here. So it should actually pull enough air. We're going to find out. So let me go ahead. We're going to reassemble the whole thing. I'll be right back with you. Let's see what she does. Be right back. And there it is, guys. That is so cool. All right, so check this out. I'm going to give a view on Stumpy. So here's where we're going to have, check out how that I/O shield, guys, look how it turned out. Isn't that amazing? So as a consequence, that's going to use a standard 12-volt adapter, which is pretty much a generic laptop adapter, just like this one. And that will actually power this thing, which is wonderful. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I want to power this up together. I haven't even turned it on, guys. I want to see if it works together. So what I want to do is I want to turn Stumpy around here and get him aimed up at this TV here. There we go. So you guys, we can all see this together, shall we? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and, as you can see, we're going to use a standard HDMI cable. There we go. And there is a DisplayPort adapter on this. We're not going to use that, though. We don't need the keyboard and the mouse, although if you really wanted to, you certainly could. We're going to put our LAN cable in, because why the heck not run LAN when you have the option? And we're going to power it right there. Look at that. Like we planned it, guys. And we'll bring our power off this brick right here. All right. Everything in. Looking good. Ooh, got a green light on. Now, you know, it did that last time too, guys. Look at that. There's a green light on the caps lock, and it doesn't go off. It stays on all the time. That's okay, and it's just kind of strange to me. I need to ask him what that's all about. It doesn't seem to affect any kind of performance, though. Just kind of lets you know that there's life there, I guess, right? All right. And we'll make sure that the Wi-Fi functions, but I'm pretty sure it does. This is a new board. So now I will have links to all of this down in the description, guys. This is by far the best build I've found for this. Best. I want to work on another cooling solution, and I do think liquid AIO might actually work, especially with this big area right here. So we're going to see. So here we go. Cross our fingers. Powering it up. We got a red LED. Watch on Stumpy here. Let's see if we get something on the screen. All right. Screen does seem to acknowledge we got some kind of a signal. Let's see what we get. Oh, there we go. ASRock. And wait, Commodore 64? Wait a minute. What's that all about? All right. Admittedly, this is Windows 11 with a Commodore 64 overlay right here, guys. And if you take a look at how nice that is, I actually am at some point going to put an animated GIF as the desktop on this so that will blink. But as you can see, we are running. Oh, that's right. I got to put a mouse on this because we don't have a mouse. So hold on a second here. We do have a keyboard, but we don't have a mouse. There we go. Now we got a mouse. As you can see, we're running a standard version of Windows 11 on this, and it's running fantastic. Yes, I have something planned for you guys on this. Admittedly, because you guys can see the Commodore thing I built here, I have gamed on this already, and I know what it's capable of. And boy, it runs great, especially the games that I like to play. So on tonight's stream, we're actually going to, well, actually, this will probably come out tomorrow. So on next week's stream, this will be the game machine that you see us actually playing on, and everything will be done through the Commodore. So WASAD, baby, on the Commodore. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you guys. Don't miss the podcast. Don't miss the stream. Have a great week. Bye-bye.